Being a guest speaker can be a great way to promote the expertise of you and your organisation. But if it's not done well, it can be a negative exercise in brand awareness. The most important thing to remember, I think, is that there is always room for improvement. Even the best guest speakers take the time to analyse and review how they've done. But today I'm going to provide you with 15 tips to help you be the best guest speaker you can. Just Holly. The first thing is, and I cannot stress this enough, is to be prepared. Make sure that you take the time to really think about what is you're going to cover in your topic, who your target audience is, and prepare everything. That's not to say that I think that you should put together your full speech, because I don't want you reading from notes. That's another thing I talk about. But you really do need to take the time to do some research. The next thing is to dress to impress. This is going to differ depending on who your target audience is. So if you're going and it's a corporate audience, you want to lean more towards corporate. If you're going to more of a casual event, you can lean more towards casual. It's really about finding that medium spot between your personal brand and dressing appropriate to the audience. Another thing is to present what has been promoted. There's nothing worse than going to an event that has been advertised as a certain subject and you get there and they talk about something else. So really make sure that you stay on point. That's moving to my next thing, which is to keep your pace and volume steady. So you don't want to speak too quickly, something that I tend to do, and you don't want to speak too slowly, and you want to keep your volume as steady as possible. When you're doing your delivery, it's a good idea to use some patience. What this means is if you are delivering a key point of information, there's nothing wrong with pausing. You see what I did there? You really want to make sure that you think about the delivery of the information that you're providing. The next thing is to use your visual presentations wisely. Please, no death by PowerPoint. So if you're going to have some sort of visual representation for your presentation, make sure that it is on point and it is not stuffed with words and graphics and things that people can't read and understand. I really urge you to be smart about humour. Don't try and be a stand-up comedian if you're not one, but you can include it depending on the audience. You really need to read the audience. In your presentation, I also suggest that you stay positive. So at some point you might have some banter with the audience. Make sure that you keep it as a positive message and not a negative one, nothing to do with anything bad going on in your life. Along the same lines of this is show up. And what I mean by that is when you are presenting, if you are a guest speaker, it doesn't matter what else is going on in your life, you need to show up and you need to be on. When you are up there, make sure you read the audience. If they're getting bored by something you're talking about, which I hope they're not going to, maybe move on to a different subject. You really need to be paying attention to them. So that means you need to look at your audience. You want to make eye contact with people. You want to try and develop that repertoire with them where they are listening and nodding and thinking along with what you're saying. As part of your presentation, tell a story. Stories and anecdotes really draw people in, as long as the point of it at the end relates in some way to what your key messages are. If you're going to pose questions to your audience, be very careful because you don't want to pose a question that nobody answers. There's that awkward silence in the room. So this ties back into reading your audience. Allow for questions though at the end so that if people want to ask you something, you've allowed for time for that. And at the end, when everything's finished, ask for feedback. Not necessarily from the whole audience, but maybe from whoever the organizer of the event was. So that's my 15 tips to help you be the best guest speaker that you possibly can. Just Holly, strategies for you to take control of your marketing. I hope you enjoyed my latest marketing blog. If this has inspired you to take control of your marketing, I urge you to sign up for one of my 6-week marketing workshops.